Welcome for this practice. And this week we looked at an important part of meditation and a very accessible one as well, which is mindfulness. And to introduce mindfulness to you on Tuesday, people who were with me on Tuesday, we looked at using the body as a place of focus, a place of awareness. Today, we're going to do a practice. The practice will be around the breath. So before we start, I'm going to give you a little quote. 20 years after the Buddha attained enlightenment, a senior monk by the name of Ananda became his personal attendant. One day he asked the Buddha, Venerable Sir, if people ask me whether you are still practicing meditation, what shall I tell them? The Buddha replied that yes, he was still meditating. But what kind of meditation do you practice, Venerable Sir? Ananda asked. Mindfulness of breathing, the Buddha answered. So the breath in the mindfulness practice, that we are talking about a more traditional way to practice mindfulness or the modern one. The breath is at the center of this technique, of this practice. But before we carry on, let's see the definition of mindfulness through the eyes of Buddhism. Mindfulness is the quality of mind that embodies bare attention. It's the observing of things as they are, without choosing, without comparing, judging, without evaluating, or without laying or adding any of our projection or expectation onto what is happening. It is the ability to see just this. And this is a very important descriptions of mindfulness. It's, in fact, it's the core of mindfulness, is that you remember on Tuesday, we were becoming a witness and an observer of what's happening on the body in this moment in time. Why do we need to do that? It's because one of the traits of stress and anxiety, that's another thing that I teach besides normal classes, it's that we project in the future and we're worrying about the future. So mindfulness with stress and anxiety becomes an important tool to stay present, to be aware of what's happening in the body, be faced a little bit with our demons, and then maybe something change, something shift. Now, what's the role of the breath in this? Well, the breath has two qualities. It's very much a physical thing, but it's also a very much energetic and subtle thing. So the breath has one foot into the body, but also one foot in the mind. So we could consider the breath as being a bridge. We could consider the breath as being a step, a door towards our mind, inwards. So using the breath is possibly the easiest way to move away from the physical sensation, the worrying, the mental, and going inwards and be a little bit more present with something which is a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more easier to be with. Okay? So before we start, I'm going to ask you to sit comfortable. Before we start the main practice, I'm going to ask you to do some breathing exercise. And actually, some of you will recognize the breathing exercise as being part of a yogic technique called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. And this is taken from the practice they do in Buddhist temples, and it's called the 9-round breathing. And it will involve that you close your nose, right nostril or left nostril. I will guide you through this, and then you're breathing 3 times from the opposite nostril, open opposite nostril. Then we'll pass to the next one, we'll do the same, and then we'll be breathing from both. Okay, so before we do that, I would like you to sit comfortably on your chair, or on your pillow, or on your sofa, and then close your eyes for a moment. So you start with a sitting position of your choice, and you start with a posture which will be comfortable for your legs. And then make sure that your back is upright. Relax your shoulders and put your hands on your laps. Now double check around the face and just relax the places like the jaws, the mouth, relaxing the back of your eyes in their sockets, the forehead, the temples. The tongue is relaxed in the mouth. The chin is slightly tucked in. Now, it doesn't mean on the throat, but ever so gently, gently moving down a little bit. It's like if you were looking down on the ground in front of you. The eyes are gently closed. And we are moving to the breath, and we want to find a breath which is slow to start with. Deep and natural. So slow, deep, and natural. So at this point, we are not controlling the breathing, we're just observing a natural breath. So let's start the 9-round breathing exercise. Using your right hand, the right index finger block off the left nostril. So if you place your right hand in front of your face, and the index fingers is going to close the left nostril. In the same time you're doing this, inhale slowly and steadily through the right nostril. When the breath arrives to the top of the nose, hold your breath. Close the right nostril and exhale from the left. And we're going to do that 3 more times. Close the left nostril, inhale from the right. Feel the breath arriving to the top of the nose. Close the right nostril, hold your breath here for a couple of counts. Open the left, exhale through the left. Two more times. Close your left nostril, inhale from the right. When you feel the breath arrive to the top of the nose, your lungs are full, close the right nostril, hold your breath here for 1, 2. Open the left nostril and gently, naturally exhale through the left nostril. One more time. Close the left nostril, inhale from the right. Then lock the both nostrils, hold your breath. Then open the left nostril and exhale through the left. Then release your hands on your laps and just pay attention how that makes you feel. We're going to have to do the other side. So you're going to place the same hand in front of your face. This time you're going to close the left nostril. And then you inhale from the right. I beg your pardon. You're going to close your right nostril. And you're going to inhale from the left. Then you close the nose, hold. Then you open the right nostril and exhale from the right. Then you close the right again, open the left, inhale from the left. Close both nostrils, open the right, exhale from the right. Close the right nostril, inhale from the left. Close the left, open the right, exhale from the right. Then you release your hands on your laps, you keep your eyes closed, and you pay attention to the sensation of this exercise, as our breath. For the last 3 breaths, bring your hands back on both laps. We're not going to close your eye, and what we're going to do, we're going to breathe from the both nostril. So breathe through the both nostril evenly, slowly, and gently. Then pause for a moment at the end of the inhalation. And then gently exhale from the both nostril, keeping the mind fully focused on your breath. We do that again. Inhale evenly, slowly, and gently from the both nostril, and pause on top of the inhale. Then exhale from the both nostril again. Concentrate on the breath when you are breathing in and out through the nose. One more time, last time. Inhale gently, slowly, and evenly. When you arrive to the top, hold your breath. And then exhale from the both nostril again. And then just rest for a moment. And then continue to breathe normally. And perhaps bring your mind to a positive motivation to do this meditation. Perhaps something like, I am doing this meditation in order to be positive and to be more beneficial to others in the world. This meditation will bring more peace and happiness to others and to the world. Take a moment to really feel this in your heart. It's not just words. It's an intention, it's a resolve. Do what you need to do to make this motivation feel more personal, more sacred, and more real. And once you have generated a positive motivation, bring your mind back to your breathing. And be aware of each of your inhalation and exhalations. And let your attention ride or float or surf the wave of the breath. Your mind ride on this breath like if we're riding or floating on the ocean waves. coming in, coming out, flowing in, flowing out. Your attention is floating and flowing on a gentle rhythm of your breath. The mind might be disturbed by thoughts, thinking. This is okay. Just let it pass. Let them go away. Remember, no judgment, no criticism. Just let pass your thinking process and then move back to observe your breath. Okay, so you slowly going to this time use the breathing to just come back out a little bit. So you take a deep inhale, exhale. When I say deep, I mean just exploring how the breath feels in the lungs with a bit more intensity, not too much. If not, you're going to create the opposite of what you've been working with until now, rest and peace, something too dynamic. So you just exploring the inhalation and the exhalation, moving in your lungs, and maybe adding a tiny bit of intensity so that communicate to the physical sensation of the body. And you explore that sensation. It might be placed at the chest, it might be feeling in the belly, it might be feeling in the whole body, it might be at the back or at the front, but just to come back to the external a little bit. And what I would like you to do after doing this and starting moving a little bit, perhaps you need to move your head, maybe you need to move your shoulders, maybe you're going to enjoy moving your arms, rolling the shoulders, dropping the head side to side, up and down. Maybe some of you might enjoy maybe stretching the legs forwards, shaking the toes, the feet. Maybe the legs feel a little bit sleepy. Pin in middles is one of the nightmares of meditation. You might need to change your seat for the next stage. Maybe you suddenly realize that you were a little bit ambitious with the legs crossed and you'd rather be on a chair. Or I wouldn't recommend the lying down, except if you feel really awake this morning, because lying down in the next practice, you will suddenly drift into sleep quite fast. Although, if you choose lying down, the other way to avoid the falling asleep, perhaps it's to bend the legs, so you are into a semi-supine. So you choose the position that you want to take for the next step of our practice today. And the next step, it's something coming from a teacher that I follow in America called Will Johnson. Is a Buddhist teacher, and is one of those teachers who brought Buddhism a bit to the modern world. And I've been following him for years, so I've been doing a lot of his practice, and I read his books. And he explained how Buddha instruct breath awareness, and that's what we're going to do now. Now, the Buddha instruction on breathing describe a natural progression that begins with the simplest observation of the breath, which become even more refined when we start witnessing the nuances of breathing, and ultimately ends in a merging of the breath with the mind and the body. It's a bit like what we've done before, the practice before. Did you notice that at the beginning we had a very physical practice with blocking the nose and a kind of alternate nostril breathing? And then we discovered slowly, when we arrived with the breath took us within a space which was more inwards, more with ourselves. So that the breath has that quality to become more and more subtle, take us to more and more subtle practice and techniques. So the Buddha created a road map of the breath that tell us where to begin, how to proceed, and what our destination might look like. It's a journey which starts from the periphery of the body and of our awareness, and move progressively deeper into the center of our body, our being, and our mind, of course. So let's explore that. There are 4 steps. If one of the steps, especially the one at the end, you find that quite challenging, then come back to one of the steps before. It's a gradual work. In fact, this practice is done over years and years of practice. So now we're going to rush it a little bit, but enjoy, do what you like, leave what you don't like, stay with what you like. That's going to be the best way to practice this, but try. So close your eyes. Again, find a comfortable sitting position of your choice. And we revisit the body again, making sure the torso is tall, upright. You remember the first class we've done together about a position. The position should have that balance of grounding through the base of the body, the pot and the flower. You remember the pot and the flower? So heavy at the base. And the body itself, the spine and the torso, should have that quality of being alert. So grounding and resting through the base, alert and upright and straight with the rest of the body. And notice if there's any tensions that suddenly appear. Face, jaws, tongue, shoulders, hands, legs, hips. And if you need to move a little bit to change that again, please do. In step one, for those of us that find it difficult to sense the breathing, we are using the body as a focus, and particularly we are using a part of our respiratory system and anatomy, the nostrils. And the first point being the nostril, bring your mind up to the nose. Being aware of the breathing which is passing through your nostrils. For the moment, just look at just the action of the breath going in and out the nostril. And remember, we are not pushing the breath. We are not forcing the breath. And we are noticing the breathing passing through the nostril. Now, it's a possibility that for some of you, the sensation of the breath on the edge of the nostril doesn't exist. And instead, you are more aware of the feeling of the breath on the upper lip or the space between the upper lip and the nose. That's okay, that's perfectly fine. Also, some of you might have the experience that a blocked nose, or one nostril is blocked, one is open. But that's okay too. In this case, visualization is very, very much welcome here. So being aware of the sensations, and after a little while, perhaps being aware of the sensation moving into the nostril passages. So be aware of the sensation of the breath touching the walls of your nostril passages. And looking this as with a curious attitude. Like if you never really paid attention to the breath passing through your nose, and you have the opportunity here. How does it feel? How intense is this experience? Look at the temperature between the two breaths. What temperature is your inhalation? What temperature is your exhalation? Just observe all the little nuances between the inhalation and exhalation passing through your nose. In addition to the nostril, Buddhist schools instruct us to focus on the movement of the belly. So our second point of focus will be the abdomen. Feel the action of the diaphragm pushing the belly out when you inhale. And relaxing the belly down at the out breath. So in a more simple way to describe it, just watch the belly moving with your breath. And it's going to be a different experience for each of you. There might be a very powerful movement, or there might be a very subtle movement, or maybe there will be a very difficult movement. Also, I will add to this that sometimes it's easier to observe also not only in the front, but the side of your waist. So you have a more three-dimensional feeling of the breath within the belly and the abdomen. And sometimes, with more practice, you might be able to sense something at the opposite side, at the lower back as well. So you have a 360 degrees visualization of the breathing moving in the lower region of your body. So whatever is easier for you, front, sides, back, just the front. Keep your mind into the gentle movement of your belly with the inhalation and each exhalation. Once you have spent some time focusing both on the nostril and the abdomen, belly movement, you can then start watching the subtle texture of your breath and at the same time, the sensation coming from the breath. So the third point of our focus this morning is going to be the qualities that we find with our breath. So observe your breath into an easy part of the body, where you feel the breath the easiest. And let's observe the qualities, like for example, is your breath even or uneven? Is it full or shallow? Is it easy or difficult? Is your breath quiet, noisy or powerful? And remember that we are not here to criticize or judge. We are here to just observe which is present within us in this present moment. And then we're moving to step 4. So that in order to deeply understand and fully be aware of our breath, we have to go inside our own body, where the true activity of the breath takes place. It takes place right down inside our body, close to our primary organs of respirations, but also touching all the different parts of the body, our bones, our tissues, our soft organs. The deeper we go in the body, the subtle the awareness of the breath becomes. So to go in, we're going to start by the nose again. So if you pay attention to the edge of your nose, feeling the breath passing through, and experiencing the breathing touching the walls of the nostril passages. So for a moment, you just observe that feeling that the breath go right up to the nose at the inhalation and right down out to the nose at the exhalation. And then perhaps at the next inhalation, you imagine the breath turning into the back of the mouth. So from the top of the nose, through the holes, the inner holes of your nose, go inside the back of the mouth and touch the back of the mouth. So just for a couple of breaths, you feel the breath passing through the edge of the nose, moving up the nose, top, back of the mouth, and drop to the inside of your throat, all the way down to the base of the throat. So observing the breath journey between the nostril passages, mouth, throat, and then perhaps with the next inhalation, just finding the lungs. And really be aware of the feeling of the lungs expanding within that cavity, which is the ribs basket, rib cage. And how does a breath affects, move into this cavity, into this empty space, which is the rib cage? How does the lungs expand? Can you feel them moving in different directions, front, side, towards the back? Invite the breath to touch the whole inside of your rib cage. You could also be aware of how the breath also stimulates the heart, stimulate the diaphragm, push down towards the belly, touch your liver, your kidneys, your intestine, all the way down to your pelvic floor. So starting observing with a more general view of how the breath is affecting, moving, massaging the entire inside of your body. And without in mind, can we imagine the breath traveling, visualizing the breath traveling in inch limbs, all the way down to the fingertips, all the way down to the toes? So it means that every single cell of your body, every millimeter of your body, every pores of your body are being moved, breathed by the breath. The breath breathes. He breathes every section, every part, every millimeter of every pores and cells in the entire body. Feel the breath passing through the whole body. Okay. So as we were doing in a previous practice technique at the beginning of this class, take a deep breath in and out. And again, don't make it a big business. Just feel the lung gently and see what will be the next things happening. What is it going to be leading to? Maybe a bit of movement, maybe a bit more awareness. Your mind goes outside and start listening, coming back to the external world. Take that very, very carefully, very gently. The way in, it's important and goes very slowly and gently, as you noticed. But the way out is as important. Don't jump out, open your eyes, keep the eyes closed. Feel, sense, smell, taste, listen. Be aware of your body in this place, in the sitting position. Feel the ground beneath you, exactly the way that we do when we go in the meditation. That will be it for today. I'm so happy to have you with me twice a week like this. I was going to say it's my favorite class of the week. I lie, but I just love it. Something completely different, and I'm so happy to be able to offer that to everyone. And I'll see you next week, or I'll see you during my classes at the end of this week. So tomorrow is mindful and restorative. And on Saturday morning, it will be a more dynamic. I decided to bring Saturday morning as a more dynamic hatha class. And it doesn't mean we're going to jump and crawl the walls or do all kind of weird stuff, but we'll go a little faster than what we normally do in my hatha class online. Thank you very much. And please go in Wellness channel. You're going to find that. Hopefully, if I had the time, I'll put it on Wellness channel this afternoon. Thank you very much. And have a very, very good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Laurent.
Thank you very much, Caroline.
Well, thank you, Laurent.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Beth.
Thank you.